Dad bod history.
Welcome to this episode of Dad Bod History, where the drinks are cold and the movies are gold. We are doing our second episode of our Silver Screen Cinema Bracket, episode 5, Cinema Strikes Back. And how you guys doing?
Fantastic.
I'm doing great.
I can feel the energy pouring off of you right now, Eric.
Ready to go.
Cardinals won,
palpable.
Suns won.
There we go. There we go. Yeah. All right. Well, as we did last time with the episode, we're going to hit 2 more regions of our bracket, get 2 more regions into the Sweet 16 candles, and probably do a third episode with the last 2 regions. And then we'll do our Sweet 16 for episode 4. So same rules as last time. Jeff, our wonderful moderator, is going to ask us some questions about each matchup. Each of us, Cameron, Eric, myself, get to vote, and each vote counts as 1 point. And if going after 2 questions where we need to go to a third question, we will. And first movie to 5 points moves out of the round. Does that pretty much sum up where we were?
Yeah, that's it. Last broadcast, we did 4 regions and it took us nearly 3 hours. So after a brief discussion, we decided we're going to do 2 regions. So we've got John Hughes region and Christopher Nolan region. But other than that, I think everything's the same. The only other difference I can come up with is Jake looks even more fantastic somehow. What is going on? Are you taking sexy pills or what is this?
I cut my hair.
Okay.
That was the first thing.
That must be it.
And then I ditched the cans and I've got my earbuds in. I'm going to try that because I'm not going to lie. These glasses are the blue light glasses. And after a while, the glare gets to me. So I thought I'd try to find a way to wear my glasses, and wearing the headphones over the glasses is not super comfortable for me. So
no, after about an hour and a half, I have to actually take the ear holders out of and just shove them up in the air, which I don't know if anybody notices, but yeah, these headphones are really comfortable for about 75 minutes. And then it gets away from me. Yeah.
So anyway, that's the change in my appearance. So we'll see how it goes.
All right. Well, you look like you're a member of the Secret Service, so it's a good. That's what I was going for. Yeah.
Eagle has arrived.
All right. Anything else anybody wants to go over? Eric, Cameron, any tales from Dad Bod before we dive into this, or anybody got anything for me?
Well, real quick, I said this.
Oh, okay. All right. No,
I'm sorry.
Are you going to say what you said about books? Because I'm not.
Well, we can say that again.
Oh, we don't have time for that discussion.
So,
okay, I was late to the party. What did you guys? What
had
happened?
Some zingers for Eric that he was not ready for.
What happened
regarding audiobooks versus printed books?
Oh, I'm familiar with this debate.
Yeah, I know, because we had that argument in the middle of an office building.
I'm assuming you're still dug in on listening to a book. Doesn't
absolutely
count.
Yeah. So I said listening to an audiobook is like saying you'll make dinner and then you swing by Little Caesars on the way home. Listening to an audiobook
worked many times.
It's not the worst analogy.
Saying you'll do the dishes, but then you just hit start on the dishwasher.
Again,
listening to an audiobook is like having a steak through a feeding tube. So anyway,
even though I disagree with you, those are all awesome.
The best response I have, because I'm definitely on Eric's team with this, but the best response I have to that is, do you own your house? Whether or not you've paid it off or not, you own your house. It's just like reading, quote unquote, an audiobook. It's recognized in society that yes, you consumed that book. You got through that book, whether you read it or listened to it. You own your house, whether or not you paid it off or you're still making payments.
So here's the thing, and we discussed this, is when Cameron, you were asking me when I listen to these podcasts that we do, how do I listen to them? And I said, I cannot listen to a podcast and try to do something else. I cannot try to do work while a podcast is on. And the same would hold true for an audiobook. If I have an audiobook on, I'm not going to do anything else. And conversely, if I'm listening to a podcast or if I'm trying to do something, if I'm trying to, as Eric said, wash the dishes and listen to an audiobook, I'm just going to be standing at the sink with my hand holding a plate for 30 minutes while I listen to the chapter finish, because I physically cannot multitask when it comes to those sort of things. So because I can't do that, when I read a book, I'm just going to go read the book. Because
okay, wait. You can, I agree with you on the multitasking thing, but at a certain point, it becomes walking and chewing gum. Some tasks you can do on autopilot.
Have you seen
the only thing I could do
I
on
can listen to a
autopilot,
podcast and do the dishes. I cannot listen to a podcast and absorb it and also do my homework.
and that's the thing, is the only thing I can do is when I'm driving. Is I can listen to a podcast while I'm driving. Like, all right, well, I'm in the car for 2 or 3 hours. I'll put a podcast on and go.
I think you're selling yourself short on the dishes example. I think you could pull that off. You're a smart guy.
I don't know. I don't think I could, because
maybe you're doing some next level work in the kitchen. I don't know. I've never seen you do dishes. So
the way I read a book is I'll read it and then I'll stop and I'll go back and I'll read it again. So I make sure I understood it the first time. I just couldn't do that with an audiobook, because I'd have to like hit pause, rewind.
that is very difficult to do. Like going back.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
But let me add this layer, because over break, I was able to get through a couple books. And one of them was Recursion by Blake Crouch. And initially I started listening to the book, but then I also got a hard copy because I wanted to actually like read through the book a little bit. So I was there listening to it. I sat down, opened the book and started reading, and realized I was reading about twice as fast as I could listen to it.
That's interesting.
I finished the book by reading the hard copy. And I will tell you, finishing an audiobook, there's not, the level of satisfaction is nowhere near closing the back cover of a physical book.
What you just did is you raced yourself in reading. Like you're the only person I know that said, I bet I can read this faster than I can listen to it.
Well,
it wasn't hard. It wasn't hard. Like I was doing it. I'm like, I have to slow down to let this voice catch up to me.
There's a function
kind of frustrating
on most audiobook platforms that also exists on Netflix, oddly enough, where you can watch or listen to it at higher rates of speed.
No, the audiobook, I already
You can do
have
that on Netflix? No way.
Yeah.
Whenever the kids have a show on,
when
I have it on the kids show on, I'll do it at 1.5 so it gets done a little bit faster on Netflix.
No way. I'm stealing that. That's
life
awesome.
hack.
No, but I listen at 1.5 speed already. I was still reading.
Oh, so you're just saying you're a
that.
genius.
I listen at 1.7. So there.
Well, I'm going to change Guns, Germs, and Steel to 1.8 tomorrow morning while I do the dishes.
Eric is
but to Eric's point, it is more. I mean, the first time I was listening to it on 1.0, I was like, this is agonizing. Like I had to speed it up, but anyhow.
The funniest thing,
you almost certainly read faster than you listen to it.
The funniest thing you can do, and I know everyone has a different opinion on Ben Shapiro, but if you speed him up, it's pretty hilarious. But if you slow him down, it is like listening to drunk Ben Shapiro.
Does he seem relevant?
Put him at half speed. He's still talking fast. It's just sounds like he's talking slow, and it's just great.
Okay.
Let's get into this.
I don't listen to a lot of Ben Shapiro, but
I know. It's just 30 seconds of your time.
Okay,
absolutely
so
worth it.
Totally worth
quick show of hands. Who thinks that reading a book and listening to the book, you get equal credit?
I'll take equal credit.
What's the, you've processed the information, you've spent the time, you've just been able to drive while doing it.
I claim those books on Instagram all the time because I have finished the books.
And every time you do, I want to be like, well, actually, but I don't, because I love you. So
I don't even think it's equal credit. I think it's just being pragmatic, saying I'm going to do multiple things at once while listening to this audiobook. So I give a tip of the cap to the audiobook over actually reading it.
You're just getting more done.
So you're extra credit. You're not even equal credit. You're saying
Exactly
is extra.
Yeah,
Hey, that's why I didn't raise my hand.
You did not raise your hand just now.
That's why I didn't raise my hand.
I knew I was going to be the minority in this, and I'm fine with that.
All
I disagree
Interesting.
Wholeheartedly. I never read.
Wholeheartedly. I vehemently disagree. Vehemently.
Most sternly. I've never read a book for the sake of efficiency. I've never, ever read a book. Like when I read a book, that means I'm done doing stuff. So I'm not like, I've never read a book with the idea that, well, I can be really efficient. And I understand that's the big benefit of audiobooks. It's just something that's never appealed to me and probably never will. But I get
it's such a great use of time. Like I drive a lot across East Texas. It's a great use of time is to be able to.
When I'm driving through Texas, I love to see whatever weird crap is on the AM radio because it's wildly entertaining as I'm scouring through the middle of nowhere, Texas or Kansas. It's fascinating, but
it's usually Tejano music. I can save you the
no, I know.
It's Tejano or it's Art Bell After Dark. When
Art Bell After Dark
is a treasure. Yeah.
Amen.
Another thing.
It is complete horse crap, but it is a treasure. And it is nothing gets you through the desert from the 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. time slot better.
No, but it's terrifying to be in the desert during that time slot listening to Art Bell.
Well, no, actually,
you feel like you're Art Bell's subject matter all of a sudden, don't you?
Or going to be.
When I was driving Uber on the weekends and when I didn't have passengers, so I was on my way to pick up a passenger.
You didn't leave that on for them? Well,
I would have Coast to Coast
a lot
AM
of 5-star reviews.
Coast to Coast AM at 3 or 4 a.m. on a Saturday you learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about humanity, and you learn a lot about the divine people from Planet Exxon. It's pretty amazing. So
I think an underrated part of this discussion as well is the bragging rights that go along with finishing as many books as possible. If you're going to listen to it on 1.5 or 2.0 or whatever, imagine how many books you can post on Facebook and post on Instagram about, hey, I finished this year. That's the big reason why I read. Yeah, I want to learn a few things.
Yeah, but I mean,
I also want to be able to brag to my buddies.
You're reading for the glory. You're in it for the chicks, right?
I could enter
chicks, yeah.
I could enter a Nathan's hot dog eating contest and shovel 30 of those things down my throat. Doesn't mean I'm going to feel good about it afterwards. That's not
great when I finish one of these books, audiobooks.
I do too.
But you feel more arrogant when you read faster than the audiobook.
That made me feel good. But I honestly don't have the time to sit down and read a book, physically to read it and do the dishes. It doesn't happen. I get the book all wet.
You got me. You got me. All right. Fair point.
All right.
Let's get this on.
Let's get into this.
Hey,
sorry,
nice discussion. Nice little warm up. All right, gentlemen. We're not going to do any recap. If you want recap, go back and listen to our last broadcast. It was good stuff. It was long, and you're welcome. Tonight we're going to do 2 regions. We have the John Hughes region and the Christopher Nolan region. Jumping right into it. John Hughes. We have our first matchup is a 4 and a 5. We have Field of Dreams, a Kevin Costner baseball classic, and Inside Out, a Pixar movie, some of their headier stuff, if I had to say, and I think it was a good movie. Eric, we're going to start with you. Which of these movies would you rather watch with your mother?
Probably Field of Dreams. And I have no explanation.
Yeah, apparently not. Okay.
I probably have watched Inside Out with her, unbeknownst to me. I may have been asleep while the kids turned it on and she was on the couch. Field of Dreams.
All right, Field of Dreams. Hang on, my people are in a different order tonight. All right, Jake, you're next. What do you got?
Field of Dreams as well. And this is because I have watched Field of Dreams with my mom. Mom was a big Kevin Costner fan. Let's just put it that way.
I imagine my mom is too.
She really enjoyed what he was putting out in the late 80s, early 90s. And as I
Like his
said before,
vibe or the movies?
oh yeah, yeah. If she wasn't divorced already, she would have left my dad for Kevin Costner. Yeah, not even a question. So, and it's funny because I think I mentioned this before. I don't know if it was on the podcast or just in general conversation with you guys, but I've been to the Field of Dreams. I believe it's in Ames, Iowa. When I was a kid, she drove me out there, and we played some catch and took some dirt home and stuff like that whole experience. But yeah, definitely Field of Dreams. She would have liked Inside Out, certainly, but Field of Dreams is one of her all-time favorite movies.
All right, Cameron, what do you think?
I'm going the contrarian pick. Inside Out. My mom was a psychology major, and it's kind of a fascinating take at feelings, especially when something that's so intangible is made so tangible. I don't know that she's ever seen it, but I would love to just sit down and analyze that with her. She would get a lot out of it.
All right, Field of Dreams 2, Inside Out 1. Next question, Jake, we're going to start with you. Jake, Field of Dreams or Inside Out, which is more impressive to mention in your Tinder profile?
Oh, gosh. Well, this is a hard one to answer because I guess Inside Out, if you say, man, I really like Inside Out, you better also highlight that you have kids, because otherwise you're just a middle-aged guy that likes kids movies, and that seems disconcerting. But Field of Dreams, that's a great movie, but it's now going on 30 years.
It's also a guy movie.
It's also a guy movie. So I don't know how, I guess I would say Field of Dreams. If I was back in the game and they said, what's your favorite movie? And I had to pick between those two, I would say Field of Dreams. Just because I liked it more. I liked Inside Out. It's a great movie, but it was a formative movie for me as a kid growing up. So I think that's probably what I would put on my profile. Gotcha.
Cameron, what do you think? Field of Dreams or Inside Out? Which one's a more impressive mention in your Tinder profile?
I'm going Inside Out. In the 21st century, the warmer, fuzzier men are in touch with their feelings now. Chicks dig emotional guys. So I'm choosing Inside Out.
Cameron, really embracing the question. Well done. Eric Hoffman, what do you think?
If you're going to be in touch with your feelings, I think Field of Dreams had plenty of those kind of moments, connecting with
your live stream of thought on the text strand as you watch the movie. Definitely you hit the range.
Being in touch with like your father, your role as a father, your role as a son, your role as a man. Even though I still think at some points the character in Field of Dreams might need to get in touch with his mental health, I'm going to say Field of Dreams.
All right, Field of Dreams. Eric somehow went double contrarian on that one.
It's a rare
difficult move to pull off, but yeah, he did it. All right, Cameron, start with you. Third and necessary question. Which is best for a slumber party? First of all, you don't have to talk about why you're having a slumber party, but pick a movie for everybody to watch. Field of Dreams or Inside Out.
There's going to be a Dad Bod History on Location event someday. And technically that will be a slumber party with us.
That's going to be live.
And so what VHS
magic.
are we popping in? Field of Dreams or Inside Out?
No, you guys exactly hit it on the head. If I'm going to have a sleepover with my buddies, at this stage in my life, and really any stage in my life, it's going to be Field of Dreams. No question.
Eric, that makes it 5. Is any Eric or Jake anything to add to that?
I would agree with that.
No, That's fine.
Okay, good to go. All right, so
I can't
Field
wait
of
until
Dreams
we have this slumber party though.
advances to a date with the number 1 seed, Dumb and Dumber.
We can call that a camp out. We've gone camping together.
No, I like the idea of like we're in our room, we have our feet kicked up. Yeah.
All right.
I think that's a good idea.
Slumber party for sure. Yeah.
Slumber party. Okay. Next matchup, but we got a 3 seed and a 6 seed. The 3 seed is 300, The Tale of Sparta, a classic. And 6 seed is In Bruges, which is only in this bracket because Jack likes it. So having said that, Cameron, which is the guiltier pleasure, 300 or In Bruges?
Which is the guiltier pleasure?
Guiltier pleasure. First of all, have you seen In Bruges?
I have not seen In Bruges.
There we go.
But what I do know about it is Colin Farrell, and that guy just kind of creeps me out. I don't like him. I don't like his accent. I don't like his hair. I've just never been a big fan of the guy.
Did you say he has a punchable face? Because that's what you're kind
very punchable.
putting
face.
it out there. Okay, that's interesting.
Very punchable face. So as far as guilty pleasure, I'm not going to get a lot of pleasure out of watching In Bruges, I think. From what I can tell, it's a little bit dark. It's a little bit kind of weird. 300 is my choice. Love that movie.
Shocker. Eric, what do you got?
I'd probably have to go with 300. 300 is something I could turn on. Just be like, I'm going to enjoy this raw blood fest with just men killing each other. In Bruges, again, is, in the words of Jeff Peterson, a slow burn. And it's yeah, I mean, that I enjoyed it, but it's not something that I can just kind of turn on and be like, all right, maybe I'll get to watch a really cool scene that I'm interested in. Watching Mr. Gleason splatter at the base of the bell tower is not something that does it for me. But watching Leonidas, slay Persians left and right, that's my guilty pleasure.
He slew many.
Yes.
Jake, what do you got?
So it's interesting, the question, because guilty pleasure in my mind evokes, I like it, but I'm afraid to tell people I like it. It's kind of like saying I like McDonald's. Like everyone loves to hate on McDonald's. So if you say, well, I actually think the Big Mac's pretty good, you're opening yourself up to some criticism.
Big Mac is so good, though.
Oh, the Big Mac's
so
delicious.
Good. Yeah,
but
it's great until right until you swallow it. Then
and then it's a mess afterwards. But in another example, when we discussed movies a couple weeks ago, Nickelback, saying you like Nickelback is a guilty pleasure type of band. And with that, I would definitely have to pick 300 here because I really like it. It's a super fun movie. But I know whenever you go public with that kind of information, somebody's like, well, it's just a bunch of shirtless men killing each other, or it's just this, or you only like
What's
it
not
because
to
of
like?
this. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, I mean, they're hot. I don't know what you want me to say, but so I think with guilty pleasure, you're opening yourself up to some pushback. Whereas when you say, I like In Bruges, that's kind of artsy. And people are like, oh, that's very sophisticated, because it sounds fancier than 300. So long story
Jake,
short,
if I could, I'd give you double points for that answer.
Yeah,
that was very
good,
eloquent.
That was a good one.
okay.
What did he answer?
So it's 300.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's only one place where you can't say 300, and that would be in the first round of a draft of movies.
It's
the only place it doesn't belong.
Man, it is a
number one
fantastic
overall pick
movie.
Wah, wah.
I do not regret that choice, man. You want to watch a movie, you want to get
But
pumped.
it's
I don't
no
either, because
Gladiator.
you let Gladiator drop right to me at number 2. Number 2, I didn't know what to do until
Tactical
you did
error.
what you did.
Gladiator
Anyhow.
was a great choice.
I don't feel like this is the last time we're going to have this conversation. So
Nope.
Not as long as 300 keeps kicking.
It's like Hakeem Olajuwon versus Jordan. You know, Hakeem was a great pick, won 2 championships.
yeah, you see it as Akeem versus Jordan. We see it as Sam Bowie versus Jordan.
Ooh, ouch, ouch! And yet it still got a number 3 overall seed.
All right.
A selection committee had to bump it down a little bit.
All right, Eric Hoffman,
Condi has spoken.
300 or In Bruges. Which would you rather watch when you are really tired? I'm talking like 2 a.m. and you have to go to work tomorrow tired.
Is it something that am I okay with falling asleep during it?
Go.
I'd say 300. Well, shoot, I don't know. It's tricky. I feel like In Bruges I could fall asleep to very quickly, which would be nice. The problem is if I woke up to specific scenes in Bruges, I would be very troubled. So I'd rather watch 300 while falling asleep, because if I woke up, there'd be nothing there surprising me or horrific. Because
really? Nothing horrific in 300?
No, I mean
Xerxes with heads on spikes and
it's
mutant sex scenes. Come on. There's some very upsetting stuff.
Mutant? Oh, yeah. That's
the Hunchback.
Alties.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not a mutant. He's just disfigured.
I think you're doing a lot of heavy lifting to say 300 does not have disturbing scenes that you could wake up to.
Tomato.
What I'm saying is I'd rather wake up to those more fantastical, horrific scenes than to ones that are very realistic in Bruges. 300.
Got it. Jacob, what do you think?
I'm going to go, it's 2 a.m. I'm going to go In Bruges because if I fall asleep to In Bruges, I can still wake up at 7, get to work with some semblance of function. With 300, I know I'm not going to go to sleep. So I think In Bruges would be my pick. Something to turn on and fall asleep to.
Turn on, flatline your brain, shut it down, try to salvage the next day. Gotcha. Cameron, what do you think?
So strategically, if I'm up super late and then I've got to get my butt in the desk at 8 o'clock the next morning, I'm not going to go to sleep. I'm just going to call it and I'm going to tough it out for the next day. What's going to hype me up better for the next day? 300 or In Bruges? Hands down answer is 300.
That does it. I tried to throw In Bruges a bone there with the what's going to put you to sleep faster question, but even that didn't work. So
sorry, Jack.
300. Yeah, we love you, Jack. Just didn't work out. All right. That takes us into our first 2 matchups in the Christopher Nolan region. Our first one is the 4-5 matchup. At number 4, we have the Christopher Nolan classic, The Dark Knight, and a classic of its own rights, Scarface. Wow, this is really interesting. So, all right, Cameron, we're going to start with you. The Dark Knight or Scarface? Which would you put on in Gen Pop your first day in prison?
Okay. So Warden comes to me. It's my first day in prison, and he wants to ask me which movie I'm showing in Gen Pop.
You know, in my understanding, the first day in prison, very important. You got to set a tone. That's
Sure.
I know this anecdotally, but yeah, I think that's how it works.
I like where your head's at, Jeff. Scarface is, one of the all-time don't mess with that guy. Tony Montana is absolutely crazy. And yeah, if I can somehow align myself with Tony Montana first day in, I'm doing pretty well.
All right, Scarface. Eric Hoffman. It's your first day in prison. You get to pick the movie for Gen Pop. You going Dark Knight or you going Scarface?
I would worry with Scarface that I'd be setting everyone up to be going after each other. With Scarface, all the backstabbing, all the two-timing, all the, just jockeying for yourself. So I feel like the Dark Knight is something that might bring a little bit more unity to the prison. Something a little bit more inspirational to the human character and maybe bring some virtue into the prison. I would have to say Dark Knight.
Dark Knight, 1-1. Jake, what do you think here?
So this is interesting because the Dark Knight literally has the prisoner's dilemma with the two ferry boats, and they have
And
Heath
Debo
Ledger's
from Friday is in there, right?
Is he?
That's right. Yes.
I think
That's
Debo
right.
from Friday is one of the prisoners.
And he's one of the good guys too. He does the right thing.
That's right.
Yeah. So it's interesting. And then you have the Joker played by Heath Ledger, who's incredible.
Mhm.
And the best part of that movie. And he brings a different class of criminal to Gotham. That's his whole thing. So you can see the appeal that would have with prisoners in the Gen Pop. But ultimately, the Dark Knight wins. Batman wins. And he does it through extra legal means. And so you got to say, well, there's some pushback because eventually the cop, Batman being the cop here, wins. Whereas with Scarface, everybody thinks of themselves as a kingpin. Say hello to my little friend. Oh gosh, this is tough. I guess I'm going to go with my gut. I said Scarface in my mind when you first asked the question, so I got to go with that.
All right, Scarface, 2-1. All right, Eric, next question. We're going to start with you. The Dark Knight or Scarface? Which movie would your therapist recommend you watch more of?
Great question.
First of all, Eric, therapy is a very beneficial process. I recommend it highly.
I honestly can see no reason why someone would recommend Scarface to better myself.
Well, it depends on your issues now, doesn't it?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Maybe you're having a hard time asserting yourself.
Maybe I need to go assert myself with.
Maybe you need a push, a little nudge.
Yeah, I think the Dark Knight is what would do it here. Embrace the darkness within yourself and something.
All right. Delusions of grandeur.
Obviously, I've never
Jacob,
been to therapy, so.
Powerful stuff. I would also pick the Dark Knight. I think, especially of the three Christopher Nolan films, this one has the most philosophical back and forth because you have Harvey Dent. So we either die young or grow old enough to become villains. You have the flip of a coin there when he becomes Two-Face. You have Christian Bale saying, well, what do you save? Do you save Dent or do you save, I can't even remember her name, but Maggie Gyllenhaal played her, Rachel, right?
Yeah.
Yep, Rachel.
So who do you save? What are your priorities in life? Obviously, you have the Joker himself, and then he has the prisoner's dilemma, as we discussed before. So I think there's a lot more meat there for a therapist to say, watch this, and then we can discuss. So I would go the Dark Knight as well.
All right, Cameron Lehman, which movie would your therapist recommend you watch more of? The Dark Knight or Scarface?
So as soon as you asked this question, I immediately thought of the famous Tony Montana quote that basically says, and this is a long one, but the shortened version is, sorry. You need people like me so you can point your fingers and say, that's the bad guy. So, if you're got a problem with self-righteousness and all these people trying to be lying to themselves about how great they are and that kind of thing, just be yourself. And if you're get in touch with that inner bad guy and say, hey, I'm just living my life. Everybody just wants to point the finger at me.
Well, stop shooting people and dealing drugs, man.
Well, somebody's got to be the bad guy. It might as well be Tony Montana.
My favorite quote is Evita, another Quaalude. She'll love me in the morning. All right. Next question. We're tied up 3-3. We're going to start with Cameron here. I think this is a good matchup for this question. What movie poster would you prefer in your bedroom? Scarface or The Dark Knight?
Jeez.
Yeah, the college version of me would have said Scarface, but Dark Knight, there's a lot going on there, man. There's like some strong themes of, turning, a good guy turning bad, a bad guy turning good. Harvey Dent is like the people's champion and has all the integrity in the world. And then he turns into Two-Face. And, I guess everybody's got that dark side to them. Yeah. Great as Scarface is. I think the facade of it is almost overdone with the whole poster thing and every dorm room across this great nation. So Dark Knight would be my choice.
Yeah, I think we definitely know which one more posters exist of, but all right. Well said, Cameron. Eric, what do you think?
For me, there's no question. I had no interest. I just recently saw Scarface. I know a bunch of guys always had Scarface up in their dorms. I don't know if they had ever seen it. I don't know what the situation was there, but looking at the Dark Knight poster, the one with Batman on it and the burning building behind him, that's very much me. Even if it was Joker with his back turned, would have loved that poster. So yeah, Dark Knight without a second thought.
All right, that closes it out. Jake, anything to say on there?
No, I agree with them. Dark Knight.
All right, Dark Knight moves on for a date with the Matrix. That'll be an interesting one. Okay, our next matchup in the Christopher Nolan region, we have Hacksaw Ridge versus The Wolf of Wall Street, a movie about a man who does the right thing at all times, even when it is remarkably inconvenient, and a man incapable of doing the right things, no matter what is presented to him. So
good job to the selection committee on this one. This
one worked out well.
Yeah. Unstoppable force versus the immovable object here.
Exactly.
Okay, Jake, we're going to start with you. The question that I have is not the question you're going to get, but the question that I have is which one do you wish you had written? But I'm going to change this a little bit. I'm going to change it to which one could you improve if you were able to do the rewrite?
Gosh. Oh man.
They're two good movies. Making
Scorsese did Wolf of Wall Street, right?
Right. And I think
Gibson
Mel
did
Gibson,
Hacksaw Ridge.
Doesn't have to be a total rewrite, but maybe a.
And is this the movie
that
Leo finally won the Oscar with? I think it is.
Somebody looked that up. I don't remember.
Gosh, this is tough because they're both really, really good for what they are. I'm gonna say
he won it for The Revenant, right?
Yeah.
Oh, was it The Revenant?
Yeah.
That's what Google says.
Hey, who am I to argue with Google? I'm gonna say Hacksaw Ridge, and I'm gonna say it only because I have more experience watching historical World War II type films than I do coked out Wall Street films. So I feel like I could bring more to the table with Hacksaw Ridge as far as historicity and plot and stuff like that than I could with Wolf of Wall Street. That's just so outside of my scope. I don't know what I could offer to that movie to make it better.
All right, Cameron, which movie could you improve on if given the chance to be part of the rewrite? Hacksaw Ridge, Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, I agree with Jake. Wolf of Wall Street was just, it was shocking. It was a great movie, but it was just so shocking, so over the top. Both of these movies, I thought, no way are these true. No way are these based on a true story. And I don't know which is harder to believe, honestly. They're both just crazy, crazy stories. But I think I would bring more to the table at Hacksaw Ridge.
Eric Hoffman, what do you think?
So your question was it specifically about a rewrite, like the written script?
Yeah, like in this hypothetical, you've read both the scripts. The script that you got is the final version, the one they ended up filming. Which one of these do you think you could have made some tweaks to here and there, any level of a rewrite, and improve the movie?
The Hoffman cut.
The Wolf of Wall
Hoffman
Street
cut
was nominated for an Academy Award for the Best Adapted Screenplay. It did not win. Hacksaw Ridge did not receive any such nomination for writing or screenplay. That said, again, something of what Jake said, my experience and what I'm, I guess, kind of what I know would fit more of Hacksaw Ridge. And I think Hacksaw Ridge was a fantastic film, an amazing story, and really well done. But I'd say some of the writing at times was a little bit lacking. Wolf of Wall Street never missed a beat in its writing. So if I'm going to improve something, it's going to be Hacksaw Ridge.
Okay.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Hacksaw takes all three. Cameron, let's start with you. Hacksaw Ridge, The Wolf of Wall Street. Which movie set would you have rather been on?
I don't want to find myself in a war zone anytime soon, especially under those circumstances. I'd either be seeing brutal things or enduring brutal things on the battlefield.
But it's also, it's not being there during the story. It's which movie set. So do you want to hang with
set.
Andrew
Okay.
Garfield and Mel Gibson in the cast and watch him make that? Or do you want to hang with DiCaprio and Margot Robbie and Scorsese in New York and watch him film that?
I think Wolf of Wall Street would be a lot of fun to be behind the scenes to check all that out. The scene on the yacht is really cool when the two guys posing as IRS agents come to see him, and it's such a cool scene. How great acting, great setting there, and just really exemplifies that. Overdoing huge money time of the 1980s.
Gotcha. Wolf of Wall Street. Eric, what do you think? Which movie set would you rather have been on? Wolf
Without
of Wall
a doubt,
Street.
Hacksaw Ridge. Just,
Why,
I mean,
why is that?
Oh, it's, again, it goes back to the things that I'm interested in. Wolf of Wall Street looks like it would have been fun, would have been cool to be around some of the people on that set. But Hacksaw Ridge, the kind of, work they're going to do on that set to recreate the scene of war and recreate with costumes and explosives and all that kind of stuff would just, I'd be all about it. I'd be all about that.
All right. Jacob Bryans, Wolf of Wall Street, Hacksaw Ridge.
So Hacksaw Ridge is filmed in New South Wales, Australia. So I don't know if that moves the needle for anybody, but I feel like, and I'm going to go with my gut here, Wolf of Wall Street, I feel like the craft services is going to be better.
Probably a Quaalude truck. Yeah.
Yeah. We're probably going to, we're going to go get shawarma after we wrap. I feel like I would love to be, I guess in the trenches, so to speak, in a movie like Hacksaw Ridge. But, if I'm just coming for the day and I get to watch Leo and Margot Robbie and Matthew McConaughey,
Jonah Hill.
That's a pretty awesome day. So I'm gonna pick Wolf of Wall Street here.
All right, there we go. That has us at 4-2 with Hacksaw over Wolf.
Okay.
Eric, we're gonna skip you and go to Jake. Which movie has the character that you want to be and why? I feel like I maybe should have gone with Eric for his contrarian streak on this to see what he does here. I may have set up something a little too easy here, but let's go with that.
This is an instinctual pick. I'm going to go with I can't remember his name, but Andrew Garfield's character in Hacksaw Ridge,
Desmond Doss,
a man of undaunted conviction.
Yeah,
and I think that's
unparalleled conviction.
And we compare that to the characters of Wolf of Wall Street. While wildly entertaining, is not something I would want to be as my character in real life. So I got to go Hacksaw Ridge on this one.
All right. That closes that one out then. So Hacksaw Ridge takes it 5-2 with several questions to go. And very little to go on there, but it has a date with Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So, wow.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah, it is. All right. Back up into John Hughes. We have the number 1 seed in the John Hughes region, the comedy juggernaut Dumb and Dumber, up against a 4 seed Field of Dreams.
I don't know how anybody could say that Dumb and Dumber would be a sentimental pick for them, but I feel like Dumb and Dumber as the number 1 seed is a sentimental pick for me because I've probably seen that movie more than I've seen any other movie in the world. So I
definitely have seen it more than any other movie for an odd reason, but yeah.
Cameron, are you just locking in your 3 questions as Dumb and Dumber?
I'm going to try to be as objective as possible here, but I'll be honest with you. It's going to be tough.
All right. Well, let's start with Cameron then. Cameron, which movie is better with the sound off?
Dumb and Dumber has some hilarious quotable lines that I have said over and over and over throughout my teenage years and adulthood. Let's be honest. It has some ridiculous, silly music in the background as well. But that whole toilet scene when he's got diarrhea after the X-Lax, I mean, you don't need sound for that to be funny. Field of Dreams, on the other hand, it's got a heart. There's a lot of, really good dialogue there. You need to hear the crack of the ball off the bat. You need to hear, the old plus bus that he drives around, through the heartland going to all these games. Field of Dreams is a great movie, but Dumb and Dumber is a choice.
He warned us. All right, Eric, what do you think? Which movie's better with the sound off, Dumb and Dumber or Field of Dreams?
And I was, when I was in middle school, I had a buddy who lived across the street, and we'd have sleepovers, right? He'd come over and we'd hang out all night. And one of the things we would do is we'd turn on my TV, turn the sound all the way down, and then turn on the radio and just watch it with different sound. For some reason, that was highly entertaining. It really was. So with that in mind,
was it Art Bell? Is that why?
Not Art Bell. I didn't know Art Bell yet. That would have been terrifying. There's certain scenes in Field of Dreams that without sound, when they're panning up over the field and seeing, that might be kind of cool. But as Cameron said, I think baseball is a sport that is communicated through sound and smell. And as much as I rag on baseball, to go sit in a baseball game or even to watch on TV and just hear the sounds, or if you're in the stadium and you can smell it, the stuff that comes from baseball, there's something very nostalgic about that. And if I was in one of those situations at a game, I'd probably sit back and just be like, this is a good thing. Therefore, Field of Dreams cannot win this question for me because it requires the sound. And like Cameron said, the sound of the bat, the sound of the players and walking on the field. Dumb and Dumber man, the physical comedy is enough. It's just enough. So you can watch without the sound. It'd be fine.
You have a dizzying intellect. Jacob, what do you think?
I guess I'll be
better with the sound off.
I'll be the contrarian on this one. I'm going to pick Field of Dreams. And I think for me, watching a comedy without the sound is not really watching a comedy. Especially when one of the lines in that comedy is, "What's the most annoying sound in the world?" Yeah. So for me, I think comedy needs sound. It needs the punchline to be given audibly to really have the effect that it should. I totally agree that there's a lot of good physical comedy in Dumb and Dumber, but I feel like Field of Dreams, and this may sound like a knock, but I feel like Field of Dreams is one of those movies that they would put on an airplane, and you don't want to pay the $5 for the headphones, but you can still enjoy it by just watching the pictures of it. And I think, or just the video without the audio. And I think that's part of why I'm picking it, but also just because I think Dumb and Dumber would suffer more not having sound than Field of Dreams would.
For me, I've got Dumb and Dumber memorized. So whether the sound's on or not, I'm good.
Radio? Who needs a radio? All right, Eric, let's go with you. For starters on this one, Dumb and Dumber, Field of Dreams. Which is more likely to never go out of style?
Ooh.
Yeah, a couple heavy hitters here in the longevity department. What's going to be relevant and in style longer? Dumb and Dumber, Field of Dreams.
Dumb and Dumber was like, 94, and Field of Dreams was probably 89. Is that about right?
That's about right, yeah. I don't know on Field of Dreams, but Dumb and Dumber, yeah, I think you got it.
Dumb and Dumber's 94 and 89, yeah.
I think some of what made Dumb and Dumber great was kind of its place in the early 90s. A lot of that movie is great. I'd say 80% of that movie is perfect and can last everything. But I think Field of Dreams has a place in baseball, and baseball has a place in the United States. And I don't think that will go out of style. So I'd say Field of Dreams.
All right. Field of Dreams. Jacob Rhines, which movie is more likely to never go out of style? Field of Dreams or Dumb and Dumber?
I'm going to follow Eric and say Field of Dreams. Baseball movies lend themselves to timelessness. The Natural being another great example of that, or even Bull Durham with Kevin Costner is another great
Major
baseball
League
movie. A Major League is a comedy baseball, but it still holds true today. Like so I think baseball just lends itself to timelessness on film, and for that reason, I pick it.
Yeah,
Cameron, what do you think?
I echo what those guys say too. I mean, the Major League Baseball has literally started the Field of Dreams game in the last couple of years because of that nostalgia. They did such a good job. I don't know why they didn't come up with that before. It's a wildly popular game that everybody watches, gets baseball even more attention. And it's all just based on this nostalgia of it. Everybody, whether you care about baseball or not, whether you watch it, whether you're a fan, whether you played, everybody gets baseball. Everybody gets the appeal of it. Yeah, it's slow, and yeah, there's not as much action as some of the other sports, but something about baseball is magical, man.
Can I ask Jeff real quick, what would you pick here? I'm just curious.
Which is least likely to go out of style? I would probably take Dumb and Dumber. I think it's the number one for a reason. I think that it probably is going to resonate longer than Field of Dreams. I don't see Field of Dreams. It resonates with old baseball fogies like Cliff and Randy, but I don't think kids care that much about baseball anymore, especially if they're going to have another strike. And, just, I don't know, pro sports, I can see that going out of style, but I see Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels and the Farley brothers work on Dumb and Dumber. I mean, it's a timeless classic. So you guys all took Field of Dreams. I would have taken Dumb and Dumber on that one. All right. So we got Field of Dreams 4, Dumb and Dumber 2. Jake, we're going to start with you on this one. Which of these movies is more compelling if you reverse the script? This is like if you take Jaws and reverse the script, it's a movie about a shark that vomits people until they open the beach. So Dumb and Dumber would be a movie about two plucky youngsters who make the trip from Aspen back to New England and end up in their dodgy apartment. And Field of Dreams about a guy who plays baseball with his dad and then is finally able to turn his baseball field into a cornfield, which he's always wanted. So
we're just going to turn this over to Jeff for the rest of the podcast. That was awesome.
So Jake, which of those movies would you rather watch? Which is more compelling?
I don't know if compelling is the right word, but I think
it's definitely not the right word.
No, I think I would much rather watch Bizarro Dumb and Dumber than Bizarro Field of Dreams. Because I don't think the order of the jokes makes it more or less bad. It would still be very funny. Where Field of Dreams would get significantly more depressing as it went on.
Just drops off James Earl Jones in Boston.
Yeah. I don't want to watch this.
Yeah.
For no Is this heaven? No, it's Iowa. And then Ray Liotta disappears back into the cornfield, never to be seen again. It would be a very sad movie. So Dumb and Dumber is where I'm going.
Okay, Cameron, what do you think?
The only way to exercise these ghosts is to build a cornfield.
I got to get rid of this baseball field.
Oh man.
This is it's awesome. Dumb and Dumber is the choice. I totally agree with what Jake said.
All right, Eric, it's all down to you. We got
Dumb and Dumber. Yeah.
Dumb and Dumber's got 4. Field of Dreams got 4. You
Eric
care to
picked Dumb and
expand
Dumber.
on that?
Yeah, Dumb and Dumber. No, there's nothing to expand. I think Jake got it right.
Yeah, Field of Dreams just becomes completely depressing if you run it backwards.
Yeah.
All right,
I got to get this writer out of here.
And it took a question like that for Dumb and Dumber. I mean, Dumb and Dumber was down 20 at halftime, and they came back and won it. That was awesome.
That went down to the wire. So
that was great. That was a great question.
Right on. Okay. Our last matchup for tonight in the John Hughes region, we have the Zack Snyder Classic 300 and the 80s comedy classic Ghostbusters, which spawned a slew of sequels, some good, some less than good. Eric, which movie would your dog prefer, 300 or Ghostbusters?
Huh.
You do have a dog, don't you?
Yeah. I think she would prefer, well, I don't know. Loud sounds bother her to the point that she'll leave the room and go find another place to be. So I'm not sure which movie is louder. Whichever movie is louder is the one she wants the least. I'm going to say Ghostbusters.
Your dog would prefer Ghostbusters?
Maybe. That's tough. I really don't know.
You want us to come back to you, or you want to hazard a
you know what?
Here?
Let me see if Jake or Cameron can convince me.
Oh, wow. This is a first.
Oh, I didn't realize we were working for you, Eric.
Okay. Pass.
You heard my vote, Jake. Heard my vote.
Dance, puppets, dance.
Yeah.
All right, Jake, you're up. Which movie would your dog prefer?
300
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters. Okay. there's dogs in Ghostbusters. Yeah, they're demon dogs, but they're still dogs. So I think my dogs would identify with that.
Okay.
Also, you got the Stay Puft Marshmallow, which I know my Great Dane would just love that at the end of the movie. And you got a plucky Rick Moranis, which is always good. So I got to go Ghostbusters here.
All right. Cameron, what do you got?
Yeah. Ghostbusters, it's happy. It's, silly. It's campy. And, the dogs that I had growing up were always golden retrievers. They don't want to be in a fight. They don't want to, they'd be confused by the whole 300 thing. They just want to have a good time and enjoy the movie. So they'd enjoy Ghostbusters.
All right, Mr. Indecisive. Have you heard enough?
I think, yeah, Ghostbusters takes this then. I think the demon dogs sold it for me. Because my dog can be kind of a demon sometimes.
There you go. Key selling point.
So I know nobody asked, but my dog would definitely prefer 300. Anytime a horse or a dog or a duck comes on the TV, she goes nuts. So rhinoceros dressed up in war gear, all that stuff, that would probably appeal to.
I was wondering where you're going with that.
Yeah.
She just loves Gerard Butler. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah. All females, I think. So. All right, Eric. Since you're prone to passing, we're just going to start with Cameron on this. Cameron, 300 or Ghostbusters? Which movie has better quotes for when you give your next best man toast? Which movie are you going to pull from?
It's been a long time since I've seen Ghostbusters.
That's a huge Twinkie.
You know, 300 is pretty quotable, but you know, when it comes to best man speech at a wedding, I don't know that really can weave that in. I mean, I'm a wordsmith, but that's tough. Nothing really calls out to me from Ghostbusters, so I'm gonna begrudgingly say Ghostbusters, just because if I had some time to think about it, I could weave some good anecdotes into that.
Just for the heck of it, what is there one quote you're looking at that you could throw into a speech?
I'm gonna go for broke. I am madly in love with you.
That's Bill Murray to Sigourney Weaver, right? Yeah, he's just not getting any traction. All right, Eric, what do you got? 300 or Ghostbusters?
There's no way I'm passing up some 300 quotes.
Are you going to weave that into a best man speech?
I don't know, but
you're going to fight in the shade.
Yeah, what are we going with here?
So I could quote Xerxes. I could be like, "There will be no glory in your sacrifice. I will erase even the memory of Sparta from the history." It just
going to be the
let's make this Jake, right?
Speech ever.
There will be no glory in your sacrifice. I will erase even the memory of Jake from the histories. Every piece of Jake's parchment shall be burned. Every historian on Jake, every scribe shall have their eyes pulled out, their tongues cut from.
Wow, I think you've confused the best man speech for the first day in prison. Yeah,
I could say this is madness. This is marriage, right? I think there's a lot of things that can be modified from 300. Just
all right, I like it. Jake, what do you think? Which movie are you pulling from when you're putting together quotes for your next best man toast?
Oh, can I give one more?
Please.
One more. There's no room for softness, not in marriage. No place for weakness. Only the hard and strong may call themselves husbands. Only the hard, only the strong.
I got to add one too. This would be a great punchline in a best man speech. We both have the same problem. You get used to saying that.
There we go. I like that.
Like, I feel like you guys want these marriages to end very quickly.
Yeah. No, that would be a funny one. That would be like, husband, just get used to her saying we both have the same problem.
I have a good bridesmaids line too.
Oh, let's hear it.
Give him nothing, but take from him everything.
So, okay.
That's a good line.
Bonus question that doesn't mean anything. Jake, which of these two men, if you could go back in time, would you want to give the speech at your wedding?
Well, they were both in my wedding party, and I'm kind of regretting it now.
I'm only regretting that I didn't look these up before the speech.
Yeah, you were my best man, and this is what you had all this ready to go.
1,000 nations of Persian Empire descend upon you. I don't know what that has to do with, but it'd just be great to say at a wedding.
and one woman.
Yep.
All right, Jake, what do you got? Which movie has better quotes when you give your next best man toast?
Geez. I mean, Eric, you made a compelling case, but I feel like there's one line that would fit really well into a best man speech, and it would be this: Eric and Amy, dogs and cats, living together, holy matrimony. And that is obviously from Ghostbusters. So I'm going to pick Ghostbusters.
All right. That's a 5-1. A pretty forgettable afternoon for 300, which took off let's look at what 300 did today. It beat In Bruges, which how did that even get into this thing in hindsight? And it got smoked by Ghostbusters. So enjoy 300. Enjoy. All right.
All comes down to the questions, man. You never know.
That gets us down to the okay. So we're out of the John Hughes region. We got our final two matchups here to close out the Christopher Nolan region and tonight's broadcast. Our first matchup, we got a number 1 seed, The Matrix, and up against The Dark Knight. The Matrix, which blew everybody's minds when it came out, and excitement for part 2 and part 3 was off the charts, and they disappointed fantastically to the point where the fourth Matrix is on my streaming service that I have that I won't even have to pay for, and I'm probably still not going to watch it. I just have that little interest, and I'm a big Keanu Reeves fan. But anyhow, so that series has gone into the ground like a dart from a 747, and The Dark Knight, a classic. So having said that, Eric Hoffman, which movie would you rather watch blindfolded? Watch, let's put watch in air quotes too. Which movie would you rather experience?
Kind of the opposite of
at the top of the show.
Yeah. I think I'll say the same thing. The Matrix is visually stunning. But The Dark Knight, especially with its soundtrack, that's something I could listen to. I'm going to go Dark Knight.
All right. Good answer. Jacob, what do you think?
Same. Dark Knight, and Hans Zimmer doing the score on that movie is really, really compelling. And then the dialogue, again, Heath Ledger is the Joker. I don't need to see him to understand how good he is at that character. So Dark Knight, where the Matrix, a big part of the Matrix appeal is its heavy visual effects, bullet time. I mean, if you can't see those things, you're missing most of the movie.
Yeah. The martial arts, the heavily choreographed martial arts scenes, which are really great.
Yeah. But again, you can't, without those things, you can't. It's not the same movie.
In the early days of the DVD, there was nothing like a few choice scenes from The Matrix to show off your home sound system. So, but The Dark Knight just didn't exist yet. So, Cameron, what do you think? Which would you rather experience blindfolded, The Matrix or The Dark Knight?
Yeah, I can't refute what those guys are saying. I mean, The Matrix was, what was that, 1999 when that came out?
I think so. Yep.
I mean, it might as well have been 2059 as you're watching it. You felt like you were really stepping into the future. Yeah, it was so visually amazing. I can't think of another movie that beats that off the top of my head visually, and to have that taken away would ruin the movie.
All right. Dark Knight with some quick 3-pointers there. All right. Jacob Rhines.
Mm-hmm.
Which movie title sounds better if you add Omatic to the end of it?
The Dark Knight Omatic or Matrix Omatic. Dark Knight Omatic doesn't sound like a grim, dark Christopher Nolan movie anymore.
It sounds like a dance.
Yeah. And the Matrix Omatic sounds like an appliance.
Does.
Am I supposed to say which one sounds better? Like, I want to go see this movie, The Dark Knight Omatic or The Matrix Omatic?
Yeah, which sounds better if you add Omatic to the end of it. I think we're just strictly dealing with movie titles here. Just which one
So I
sounds
don't get to
better?
see a poster. I don't. The Dark Knight Omatic, The Matrix Omatic. I feel like The Matrix Omatic, I can't get anything out of that movie title.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it's 1999, I've never seen The Matrix. I don't know anything about it. And someone says, "Hey, let's go watch The Matrix Omatic." And I'll be like, "What are you going to do? Go to the Kennedy Hahn store and see what the new dishwasher looks like?" I think I got to go Dark Knight Omatic. It might be like a goofy musical, but that's okay. I like musicals.
All right.
Yeah.
We went back to campy Batman. Who knows? All right. Cameron, what do you think? Which movie sounds better if you add Omatic to the end of it?
Yeah, the Matrix Omatic is, some kind of required movie watching for engineering majors. Stuff that I clearly wouldn't understand. Too many, formulas and just highfalutin stuff over my head.
Math is hard.
That's 3 for the highfalutin meter in Cameron over the past week.
Hey,
we're tracking your use of really
highfalutin 3 times.
And every time you say highfalutin, what happens is Kenny G comes on is a little GIF. So,
well, as you guys know, I consider myself a man of the people, so I can't allow that to happen on my watch.
I'm not saying you're becoming highfalutin. You're just using that phrase a lot.
Yes, I have a disdain
just
for the
like
highfalutin
Jeff
things.
uses slow burn and Jake says, I feel like.
I feel like.
That is spot on. Yeah, I just can't get behind the Matrix Omatic. So it's going to be the Dark Knight. I don't have a great reason for that other than the Matrix Omatic is just too highfalutin.
Just too highfalutin. All right, Eric, that's 4. Okay. The Dark Knight just shut out the Matrix. So
that's a shock.
What is happening?
Yeah. Can I give my reason for why I was going to go with what I went with?
Yeah, let's hear it.
So the Matrix Omatic right off the bat sounds more believable as a title of something. But the Dark Knight Omatic, Jeff said something about the kind of the campy version of Batman, like the pow, zap, wham. And that made it just locked in. The Dark Knight Omatic. And that would be in a bubble right next to the Dark Knight Omatic. So
with Panavision.
Yeah.
Like
All right. That brings us to our last matchup of the evening. To close out the Christopher Nolan region, we have Hacksaw Ridge, fresh off of a victory over Wolf of Wall Street, against arguably the most iconic movie of the 80s, Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Something I noticed? Breakfast Club did not make any draft.
I know.
How did that happen?
There were a lot of good 80s movies, man.
Yeah.
That was a deep draft.
We might have to have like what's the second tournament after the NCAA tournament?
NIT.
We might have to have an NIT bracket for movies.
I like that.
That's funny. Okay. Hacksaw Ridge and Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Eric, which is a bigger trigger for fragile leftists?
I'm pretty sure that Ferris Bueller says some pretty off-color things by today's standards. However, the violence depicted in Hacksaw Ridge, especially that are almost nearly strictly on racial lines between primarily white Americans and Japanese, along with the heavy Christian undertones of the main character, I think Hacksaw Ridge would upset more leftists, along with also American imperialism and things like that.
All right. Eric's going Hacksaw Ridge for most likely to trigger fragile leftists. Jake, what do you think?
I would agree. I mean, I think Ferris Bueller's Day Off can be offensive, but it's offensive in the way a lot of comedies are offensive, where they're generally crude, but they're not necessarily controversial. Whereas Hacksaw Ridge,
Which was also directed by Mel Gibson. So
Ferris Bueller's Days Off was directed by
Hacksaw Ridge.
The whole premise of Hacksaw Ridge, though, is this man making a principled stand as a conscientious objector, but still wanting to serve
on religious grounds.
It's a controversial plot, so whatever the movie, it's going to be more triggering. And I would say in this case, because it is a war movie with showing American imperialism, I guess, if you want to put it that way, that is going to be more triggering to people on the left. So,
all right, Hacksaw Ridge takes 2. Cameron, what do you think? Which one's going to upset the snowflakes?
I'm going to go a different direction. And I recently watched Ferris Bueller's Day Off, watched it with the wife and kids. And
it's so good.
It's so good. I forgot how good it was. But Ferris's sister is, the ultimate, second fiddle. She feels like, oh, he gets everything because he's a boy. Oh, he's the favorite. And I think the feminist left would be really offended by all of the praise that Ferris gets. Everybody loves Ferris. He's sick, and there's a drive on the radio for raise money for Ferris and all of this. His girlfriend kind of has like a hero worship thing going on. When he's doing the parade, downtown Chicago, and she just looks at him with so much admiration. The woke left is not going to like that. The relationships there with how females are second rate in that movie.
Cameron, that's a candidate for double points, man. Well done. And the contrarian angle. I love it. Let's start with Jake on this one. Jake, Hacksaw Ridge or Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Which is most deserving of a sequel?
Ooh.
Well, Eric, I got a question for you. What happened to the main character from Hacksaw Ridge after the war?
So he went home, he took up Krav Maga and learned to whip some ass.
Something along those lines.
It said this pacifism sucks.
So what actually happened to Desmond Doss after the war is he was wounded during his final action. That's the main part of the film on Hacksaw Ridge. And so he was wounded 4 times there. And then he had a left arm fracture from a sniper's bullet that happened while he was being carried back. He had 17 pieces of shrapnel, and he kicked a grenade away. Right.
I don't need,
okay.
I don't need.
Hold on.
Because it's not going to change my answer.
He was, it's still worth telling, right? He was discharged with tuberculosis.
This is a history podcast, you guys. Let him do it.
He spent 5.5 years under treatment for tuberculosis. He lost a lung and 5 ribs.
Wow.
He was discharged from the Army.
Okay, I don't need to know everything.
With 90% disability. He lost all his hearing, but he did live to 2006, but basically just on a small family farm. in Georgia. So
not a real exciting second half of his life.
but
it's going to be a drama.
My turn. Okay, just let me say my piece, and then you continue on with the biography of Desmond Dawes.
Does anybody remember the question?
Sequel. Which one would have a better sequel?
Most deserving of a sequel. Thank you.
And sequels to comedies very rarely go well. And I don't think a Ferris Bueller sequel would be very good. For that reason alone, I'm going to pick Hacksaw Ridge. But because Eric gave the entirety of this man's biography in 2 minutes, you could do a lot there with him dealing with coming home from war, the PTSD, assimilating back into civilian life. And I think you could have a really compelling story there as well. So Hacksaw Ridge is my answer.
Going Hacksaw Ridge. Cameron, Hacksaw Ridge or Ferris Bueller's Day Off? More deserving of a sequel.
I want to know what happens to Ferris once he goes off to college.
Did he peak too soon?
Exactly. Does his girlfriend dump him for, the great athlete on campus and walk off into the sunset? Does he become depressed that, maybe he was a big fish in a small pond in high school? Maybe his life takes a turn. I want to see how Ferris does in college. That's my choice.
I like it. Eric Hoffman, what do you think? Hacksaw Ridge or Ferris Bueller's Day Off? More deserving of a sequel.
So I'm reading about Ferris Bueller's Day Off and the talks they had about a sequel. And how essentially what they decided was this movie was great being kind of that flash moment in your life in high school, but they kicked around to the idea, it's going to be in college, but just for fun, what if they waited to do it? And the Alan Ruck, who plays Cameron, his friend, he said, used to think, why don't we wait till we're in our 70s, do Ferris Bueller Returns and have Cameron be in a nursing home. He doesn't really want to be there. He just decided his life is over. So he committed himself to a nursing home and Ferris breaks him out and they go, to like a strip bar and a bunch of ridiculous stuff happens. And then at the end of the movie, Cameron dies. So
don't like that part.
I think the way Jake said it works. Hacksaw Ridge is going to have the better sequel.
Whoa! After all that, geez,
I know.
You gave no love to a journey. Hacksaw.
Yeah.
I gave all my love
That's
when Jake was
breaking curveball.
When it was Jake's turn.
Yeah, you did.
Just my opinion on this. There's so many movies that are just great on their own, and a sequel gets made, and it's just a cash grab. And I as much as I would love to see a sequel, you're right, Jake. It wouldn't be good, and a lack of a sequel just makes the first one that much better. It stays as a classic, and I just hope they would leave it that way. All right, Cameron, we're going to start with you. Hacksaw Ridge or Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Which movie needs its own day? We live in a world with hot dog day and take your dog to work day and makeup day and everything else. Which movie needs its own day?
We have a lot of days in this country that are just nonsensical. We have a lot of really deserving holidays. We have Veterans Day. We have Memorial Day. We celebrate really heroic people in this country. Hacksaw Ridge. Yeah, there should be a Desmond Doss Day. For obvious reasons. We have enough holidays, and Ferris Bueller's Day Off is really, that's Labor Day, essentially. We have that already. Doing that again would be too much.
Eric, what do you think?
What do you mean by we have Labor Day as Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
So, I mean, he's worked hard. He's an overworked senior and just needs a day off because he's running out of time. And wants to blow off his responsibilities and that kind of thing. He plays hooky as opposed to a national holiday, but it's just kind of a lazy, don't accomplish. He does a lot of fun things.
Oh my God, he did everything.
Anything.
You sound like
right.
You sound like Cameron. That's what
I
you
don't
sound
know.
like. You sound like
I feel like
Cameron
we've
from
got
the movie. Like we haven't done anything fun today. You ate pancreas.
No, he did good things. I'm not gonna lie. It was a great day. I want that day, but we have enough days off like that. We have enough days that, hey, let's celebrate whatever. Hacksaw Ridge is a deserving holiday day off.
So much reverence. Eric, what do you think?
I mean, I think he's right. Hacksaw Ridge would be the day that deserves something. But maybe Jake can change my mind.
I'm glad you asked.
Jake, let's hear it.
I think you're missing the spirit of Ferris Bueller's Day Off by saying it's just like Labor Day. I think we do have some holidays where you just don't work, which is fine and is valuable in its own right. But do we have a day where you get to pretend to be Abe Froman, the Sausage King of Chicago? Do we have a day where you get to sing Dankeschön in a parade? Do we have a day where you get to play hooky and dodge your older sister and the principal? Like, there's a lot of catharsis in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And I think the way we do holidays is wrong. I think there should be some pageantry here. And that pageantry should be, go ahead and do all these weird things that you would never normally do.
Yeah, a
and
day
just see what
to
happens.
suck the marrow out of life.
Yeah.
I
think
changed
that's what
my
makes
answer. Good job. I changed my answer.
All right.
Eric?
Eric?
Does it all sit with Eric now? Is it 4-4?
Look at the
Is it
look on his
Eric
face right
already
now.
voted. We're wondering if Eric wants to go back and revisit
Look at
his
this.
decision
Is it 4-4?
for
He
yet
is
another
loving
military
this right
holiday.
now.
I have 2 kids in the military. I get it. I love the military. Of course. But maybe, Eric, maybe.
I think it's kind of tough because I do think there's a place where we should uphold and really revere this kind of virtue that we see in Hacksaw Ridge from Desmond Dawes. And I love this story. What Jake is saying is we need to be intentional about how we celebrate and how we do things. If we're going to have a day, we need to actually make that day about that thing. And if it happens to be a day where we go do something away from our normal routine, besides just taking the day off, that'd be worthwhile. So I think we should have a Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yes.
Yes. We did it.
Wow.
Hey, that was teamwork.
That was
You
impressive.
And you and you.
Hmm.
You guys did that. You guys. This is
That was
And
impressive.
if
People
there-
helping people.
if we're going to have a resurrection round somewhere with obviously Jesus and the Passion of the Christ, I would say Hacksaw Ridge belongs there. But
of course. Jake brought it all back with the spirit. You're missing the spirit.
Yeah.
God, just mwah. All right. Well done. All right.
Some answers are compelling. Some you want to write it down. Some bring a tear to your eye. Some are just very convincing. Like,
can we
Jake that was your closing statement.
Well, and
as the
Jake,
defense
ironically,
attorney.
the man who the best turnaround we had in a previous episode, the Kaiser roll turnaround.
Yeah,
that was
that was a
Jake.
big
Changed his
moment.
own mind. So
Yeah.
given a minute to think about it. So how appropriate. Eric, what do you got?
Can we go back to something? Because we were talking about baseball earlier, baseball having that kind of sound and the smells. And one of the things that happens in Ferris Bueller's Day Off is they go to a day game, day
At Wrigley.
baseball game.
At Wrigley.
And on a school day,
Yeah.
right? That's kind of it's a cool thing when students have in the past been taken out of school because they're going to go to a day baseball game.
Yeah.
That's cool. That never happens with basketball
Mhm.
or football. it's a baseball thing.
And it's a
probably
special
pretty great.
moment to take a kid out of school for something like that.
Yeah.
And not even the whole day, but you pick them up an hour early.
Yeah.
So you can get to 1 o'clock first pitch or something.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome. That
You're
makes
sitting
for a
there
great day.
watching the game, sounds and smells and sights, and your friends are stuck in like science class or something.
Mhm.
Love it.
Yep.
I cannot believe that we still have another bracket of this to talk through. I'm so excited that this
And
is not. We don't even have the Sweet 16 candles set up
And,
yet.
and we're going to have an NIT tournament apparently with all our runner-up movies.
And a play-in game with Jesus Christ coming back.
Oh yeah. Maybe we should drop some of these early losers into that bracket. We can make this thing last forever.
Dad Bod History just becomes this bracket. That's all we are.
Brackets. Yeah. We just turned into sports talk radio. Yeah. All right. Hey, awesome finish, you guys. That was a ton of energy there at the end. I like it. We rallied. Hacksaw Ridge got all the love it deserved. Ferris Bueller pulled off what I feel is
That's
the
an
correct
epic
victory.
upset.
It was. And that last question, we went all around it. So anyhow, good job, guys. I thoroughly enjoyed this. Looking forward to the next throwdown.
Awesome. Well, that's it for us at Dad Bod History. Jake, Cameron, Eric, and Jeff signing off, and we'll see you next week.
See you, everybody.
Bye.
That was
I'll tell you what.